So now I'm going to kind of illustrate how to use the pattern brush effectively with each other. In other words, like how can you draw complex things with this brush or any of the brushes that you made? So let's look at the pencil tool. So under the pencil tool, if you double click on it, it has this fidelity and it goes from accurate to smooth. So people that would have a lot of caffeine in their system, I would say smooth and if not accurate. I'll show you what this does. I'm put it on smooth and I'll try to make a really jacked up line. You notice that it kind of smooths it out for you. And if you put it on accurate, if I did that same thing, it's going to have many points. See all the points? Where these don't have hardly any points. They have them only where needed. And also, what's nice about this is you can now click and drag at this little tiny area right here and round up points. That's something new in Creative Cloud. So to get that, sometimes it shows up, sometimes you have to double click the point in order to get it. And sometimes it's just so on top of itself, like this one, that it doesn't show up. Again, I'm using the white arrow to do this. Okay. For these, you'll notice that it's a little bit more complex to get that little jig to show up. Sometimes you have to manipulate the handle quite a bit and then you get it. Another way to smooth out a line is you go to the smooth tool. So this is kind of how it works. If you click the line and go grab the smooth tool, you can click and drag over these lines and you see how the points are going away. So for harsh edges like this one, it's going to take a lot of smoothing before it even shows any results. But you can get it there. Just like that. Now again, this has a fidelity. If you double click on it, it has smooth or accurate. You notice now with smooth set, it takes a lot more points out of the system. Okay, so if I was to take these lines and now fill it with my brush, you can really see what happens to this type of line compared to something that has been rounded off. Okay, much better, right? But the loops, yeah, it turns out pretty good. So when it comes down to this right here, you're kind of limited to what you can do as far as corners are concerned, especially with these pattern brushes. All right, now we're going to look at making a brush. So hold on. In this example, that was the last video I made, compiling out. So what you could do is spread these across and then you can kind of fix them up using the rocker arms, and automatically it looks a lot better. Okay, so the end of the story is like this. When you draw your lines using the pencil tool, keep them rather simple. Okay. All right, now if I draw just kind of a basic shape and then draw some shapes off of this. I'm going to keep them kind of farther apart. Again, I'm going to kind of look at this right here and say, well, that's kind of a harsh angle. Can I fix it up? The other thing you could do is go delete anchor tool. And if I'm deleting some of the anchors in this area, it'll smooth it out automatically. And then I can go grab the smooth tool and smooth up the shape. If I wanted to close up shapes like this one, I could grab the white arrow, grab a point in that area and cut it. And find out which one it cut, if it cut one. Try that again. Cut. Now that one's loose. This one could be attached to this one. And then I could grab these 2 points and go object, path, join. Now it's one path. This line, if I wanted to clean that up, I could delete some of these points. And now I have a good connection. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this one. For example, let's use that brush. So in order for the brush to be joined between these two shapes, I would actually have to kind of move this point, oops, the point coming off of this one, a little bit back. And then I can move the rocker arm ever so slightly, and now it's attaching very nicely. Okay. Again, let's look at this one. This one we didn't have any adjustments to. So let's kind of look at the area, see what we can do with it. Maybe it's just a moving of the rocker arm. And there we go. Nice. So we're going to be using the brush tool. That was my kids, if you heard that. So we're going to be using the brush tool, but I have to first show you ways to manipulate the brush around so you can connect the shapes together. So, practice this method for a little bit, and then we'll show you what you have to do in the next video.